Shout out to everybody here. My name is Samuel James Price, and every single day I do a show. Since February of 2021, show number 902, I believe we're on. And every single day I go over the news for you. And we talk about what's happening in the markets. We talk about in the world after we do an amazing show of technical analysis. And let's break down the news for you. Interoperability protocol Connext Labs raises $7.5 million at a $250 million valuation. Connext said it's building the HTTP of Web3 to create a communication layer across different blockchain networks. Connext Labs, a blockchain protocol attempting to enable the development of applications that can access multiple networks, has raised $7.5 million in funding from Polychain Capital, Polygon Ventures, and other investors. So you got some Matic love in there. The round, which takes Connext total funding to $23.2 million, gives the startup a $250 million valuation, according to the emailed announcement on Wednesday. Connext said it's building the HTTP of Web3, forming a communication layer across different blockchain networks so the applications can interact with funds and data on multiple networks at the same time. Interoperability enables developers to build applications without risk of their being bogged down by congestion or high fees on one particular blockchain, a concern that is often raised of the world's most dominant network for decentralized finance. The new capital will be used to set up the Connext Foundation, which will be responsible for issuing development grants and funding to Connext-built initiatives. The company's investors also include Coinbase Ventures, Ethereal Ventures, 1KX Hash, and Scalar Capital. So you got Polygon and Coinbase jumping on in, and they usually pick a winner. That's an interesting. I would be looking for this coin when it comes out and when we can access it, find out a little more about it. But that's some good news. I like interoperability. That's why I love Atom. Atom is a hub that connects multiple chains. That's why I like Link. It's an oracle that can be used on multiple things. It can connect chains to the outside world. So Chainlink, Atom, and now we got Connex and the like. Pretty interesting. Strike expands Lightning-powered cross-border payments to Mexico. The company says Mexico is the largest market for remittances from the U.S. Digital payments from Strike is expanding its Lightning network-based cross-border payment service to Mexico, the largest market for remittances from the U.S., which accounts for around 95% of total remittances received by Mexicans from abroad, according to the company. The service, Send Globally, will be available in Mexico starting June 14th. Wow, they're not playing games. It comes out today. According to a press release provided to CoinDesk, it runs on the Lightning Network, a second-layer payment system for the Bitcoin blockchain designed to provide cheaper and faster transactions than the base network. U.S. dollars sent across the border using the service can be received as pesos and recipient's bank account. Wow. So you're going to use the Bitcoin Lightning Network and still get pesos? Just last week, Strike CEO and co-founder Jack Mallers said the company has ditched third-party service providers and moved custody operations in-house. The new service bolsters its presence in Latin America less than a month after it established a headquarters for its global arm in El Salvador and said it expanded to over 65 countries. That's pretty interesting. U.S. Federal Reserve and other agencies continue to warn banks about crypto. The U.S. banking regulators argue that the past year of crypto drama underscores the need to keep banks at an arm's length from the industry. The U.S. Federal Reserve and other regulators issue a crypto warning from the banking system Tuesday. The statement doesn't extend to new policies about traditional lenders. They're just hating on us, and they're using everything they can to stronghold us. That's Operation Choke Point 2.0. SEC wants 4 months to potentially respond to Coinbase's request for rulemaking. 4 months. They just want to see, they have some other business. The SEC has put forth its position on Coinbase rulemaking petition. The agency said it anticipates needing 4 months to potentially respond. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission said it anticipates it will take 120 days to potentially respond to Coinbase's request for rulemaking on digital asset trading. The agency said it had not decided whether it will respond to the exchange's request and downplayed its demand for a faster response, claiming it might be due to the weakness of its claim. In a document filed in the United States Court of Appeals for the Third Circuit, it maintained that the petition should be denied. Wow. There's no merit to Coinbase's extraordinary request for a writ of mandamus to compel the commission to act on the Coinbase's wide-ranging rulemaking petition within 7 days. The commission has not decided what action to take on the petition in whole or in part, which is entirely reasonable given the breadth of the rulemaking petition and the fact that it was filed just months ago and supplemented by Coinbase recently. In the meantime, the SEC said Coinbase is bound by existing law. Coinbase's request for clearer rulemaking seeks to replace existing applicable requirements, according to the agency. The request by the exchange precedes the agency's lawsuit against the firm, which was filed last week, and allegedly the firm traded unregistered securities. On June 6th, the agency was asked by courts to clarify its position on Coinbase's petition within 7 days. Coinbase Chief Legal Officer Paul Grewal, who I saw live at Miami, criticized the response on Twitter, claiming it was fallacious and ignored statements made by the SEC Chairman Gary Gensler. In April, Coinbase sued the SEC to get a response to its request for rulemaking that it made in 2022. And the SEC came back and sued them. It's kind of a battle back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And there we have it.